Okay, good evening everybody. Welcome to the Planning and Licensing Committee, Wednesday the 11th of September. Do we have any apologies?
We have apologies from Councillor Larson.
That was all. Right. Does anybody have any interests? Otherwise, we can just declare them as we go through. Yeah. Right. Meeting management issues. We don't have any members of the public here, so as far as I know, we're just literally, for once, just go straight through the agenda. Minutes. Do we have the minutes of the 28th of August?
No, there's apologies from Duncan. He'll have these ready for the next meeting.
Fine. So nothing we can do on those. Therefore, there are no matters arising. There are no members of the public here. Do we have any active consultations?
You have the proposed reforms to the National Planning Policy Framework and other changes to the planning system.
Right. I was going to talk about that we'll talk about that when we get to the working party. Though in summary, it's a lot more difficult than I'd anticipated. Yeah. Right. So do remind me to talk about that later on. But other than that, there are no consultations. Right. No. Right. We have a street trading licensing application. Would you like to take us through it, Louise?
I can indeed, yeah. So, yeah, we have a licensing application to go on the slipway, which is adjacent to the library between Manor Road and Newquay. It comprises of a large box van, and it's going to be used between the times of 8 a.m. and 9 p.m, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It will be a food van selling food, hot food and drinks out of it.
Can I just ask, are you sharing your screen?
No, I'm not on this
We're not doing anything flash like that. Apologies to anybody watching. That we were very IT literate for the last couple of times, but there you go, Duncan's ready. Can you blow up the map, please?
Yes, absolutely. So it's along that slipway there, and if I just show you the imagery on Google Maps there, and looking at it from this angle, so it's that slipway up there.
Why are there two red splodges?
What's the what's the horseshoe shaped one? Is that the trailer that they're leaving there, or is that seating? Do you know?
I don't know if I'm honest. That's the vehicle itself. Yeah. There's nothing listed about what that is.
No. So this slipway, as far as I know, is not owned by us, even though it's adjacent to us, but is where we had problem with parking here before, and it actually, am I right in saying it acts as the emergency exit from the car park?
Yes. It's also used for access for our CCTV contractor to gain entry to maintain the cameras that are in there.
So he goes into the car park along that road?
Yeah,
it doesn't look like there's any room.
They have a cherry picker, and it's the only way they can enter.
Yeah, yeah.
It's also the pedestrian access.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean it's extremely busy. I understand that Councillor Gardner has expressed some views.
He has, yes. I can read that out to you. His words: the consultation has to involve Newquay Town Council, as they've worked very hard to protect the area over the years, installing bollard and other control measures. Personally, I would be against this. It's a very busy thoroughfare between the car park and the town, and extremely important. This would restrict the area immensely. And there is also a comment from the bid manager as well. He said, we as the bid have asked to have the small Newquay Farms market there, but always get refused. It's a great area, but could also be very narrow and a drop down onto the Manor Road. I don't think it's suitable for the below application.
Anybody got any views?
Yeah, can I just say as well that if it's fast food, then they're going to be sitting on the wall, on Newquay Town Council wall round the corner, and all the extra rubbish and everything that we're going to be coping with this wall for the garden of Marcus Hill. So I don't think it's appropriate place for it at all. It's on a steep slope, it's high up, it hasn't got access for disabled people, it hasn't got seating, and with the litter and seagulls and everything else, I just really feel it's an inappropriate place for it.
You're recommending making a representation?
Yeah.
Anybody else want to say anything? John?
Yeah, I think it's totally the wrong place, really. I agree totally. It's not convenient. There's going to be rubbish there. There's going to be. When people go for the toilet, for instance, there. I mean, there's lots of. They're taking competition from people in the town themselves. Why can't?
We can't raise that sort of issue, but I do think we can raise the issue. No one's mentioned it. That in fact, it is the emergency exit to the car park.
Yeah.
We need, because I think we will be making a representation, and I assume, unless it's withdrawn, that we will go to committee. I absolutely echo everything that Councillor Gardner has said. I would say it's emergency exit is actually an access that we use, and that we've actually, we've protected it over the years, and I'm afraid it's just not a suitable site. Anybody else got anything they want to? Joe, are you?
No, just to repeat that I endorse most of what's already been said, including from Councillor Gardner. So, yeah.
Anything else that we can raise? Because we cannot raise at the committee anything that we haven't thought of today. But I think we've covered it there. I mean,
I think when as well it would set a precedent, then other vehicles would want to go on there as well, and then we couldn't protect it at all. So I just think it's inappropriate location for that one.
I would like to know why it looks like it's a satellite in space, but we'll find out.
I was going to raise that as a serious objection.
Yes, it's not clear what they're doing. It will certainly block a very busy, because it is the main exit for anybody coming into the centre of a town. So are you going to make a proposal, Sarah?
Yes, I propose that we raise a representation for this. Yes, I am.
Second to someone? John is first. Did you get all that, Louise? You can always go back and listen. Okay, show of hands to raise a representation on that basis. Yes, that's unanimous. Thank you very much. So we now assume that what will happen is that it will go in about a month to a committee. Give them a chance for everybody else to comment if they so wish. Sorry, you were trying to say something?
What food are they selling there?
So cooked rice dishes, paella, seafood, meat, vegetables, Spanish omelette, toasties, patatas bravas, toasted Cornish sardines as well.
So it's hot food, which is wasn't quite what I. So again, a concern about serving hot food.
Yeah. And
We'd be interested in what public protections say, considering they had to comment on the next one on the agenda. It's an overall concern. Okay.
There's also
Right.
a hygiene problem as well. How can they wash their hands there? It's not the main sewer.
Yes, I don't know what they would. It's a good point.
I've been in catering, and you've got very high standards. You've got to keep washing your hands all the time while you're cooking.
And the point about waste, where are they going to collect their waste? And are they going to be moving it in and out every day?
And the wastewater.
Yeah. Licensing.
No, there's not. That was street trading rather than licensing.
Right, that was it. Fair enough. Okay, do we have any, I don't remember actually, do we have any previous planning applications, any 5-day protocols?
You do, you just, PA 24064992, the Coppice Porth. That was changed to support. Councillors agreed the changes were minor and would appear unlikely to result in any loss of privacy to the neighbouring properties. So just need that one ratified, please.
And as always, it's not the decision, it's the fact that the proper process is followed. So I'm happy to propose that from Chair. Sarah, secondly. Show of hands to support that decision. Thank you. Any others?
No.
Right. Okay, so we're now going on to planning applications. We are whizzing through. Oh, drat. I'm asking, I know, I'm tempting fate.
Too soon there, didn't you?
Especially since I managed to log out of the system, because I think the first one is one that I said I would cover, and hopefully we're not going to make too much of a meal of this one. Okay, just get myself logged in properly. Applications, information and responses. Okay, so this is application 1 PA 24/05-245. It is a retrospective application to put an extractor fan unit on the top of the mini golf in Tar Road. I went and took some photographs. They've provided plans, but since they've done it, I thought it'd be more appropriate to take photographs. We can just have a look at them. So as you come down Tar Road, you can't see it. And the next one, if you really work at it, and lean over the fence, you can just see it over the top of the building. That is it from Tar Road. As you see, the building is of no particular aesthetic value, and it's that little thing on the top in the middle there. Yep. And finally, well, there we go. So it's coming out a bit like a sea slug, but that's from the private car park. It's retrospective. So I would suggest we have a comment on it from Public Protection, who have no problem on it whatsoever, which is always the problem with this. They've looked at noise, no significant impact. I'm going to propose no objection on the basis that this is retrospective. So show of hands for no objection. No one's going to say anything like that one. Good. Right. This is an interesting one. The next one is the Cornwall Council Hub. PA 24/02605. Don't think anybody actually volunteered to present this, so up to you, Louise. I think it is an amendment from when you saw it before, about a month ago.
It is, yes. So this one was briefly looked at back in June, where an objection was raised. Generally, everybody was happy with the appearance and the design, but unhappy when you noticed that there was additional 14 spaces that were excluded from the immediate south of the building, which sit on the red boundary. Bear with me 1 second if I get these up. So that was how it was with the red line, and it was excluding these 14 spaces here. So after review, what they've come back with, the new site plan, is they are now including those spaces, which results in a total of 26 parking spaces available.
Have they actually given, I'm not going to object to this, but have they actually given us a parking estimate of how many staff there are and how many visitors they're expecting?
No.
Because I find it disappointing that we have a requirement that, because I think there is a statement somewhere, we got an email back saying, well, of course it doesn't meet Cornwall Council standards, which is great for, is it this one that said it didn't meet Cornwall Council standards?
So in part of the comment that came back, it was said that while this is below the expectation set out in our current parking guidance, the site is in possibly one of the most suitable locations in Cornwall, and I such feel that the spaces now proposed are sufficient.
Well, I have to say, I am disappointed that they haven't actually told us how many people are working in the building. But I am very conscious that this is part of a much, much wider development, because it's part of the whole railway development. So hopefully some extra parking. I mean, the parking is very sensible, very sensitive there. There is very, very little street parking. And we have no idea whether 24 spaces are actually adequate. If they have 26 people working there, then clearly they're not.
You have 26 spaces. So if you had 26,
spaces. If they have 28 people working there, I mean, if they've only got 14 people working there, then they've got room for 14 visitors. That's absolutely fine. But they haven't. So I would say I would propose no, unless anybody's got anything. I should say, has anyone else got anything to say?
Can I just add to that then? I noticed at the doing the street view along Tolkien Road, Cornwall Council actually has let's just get this thing working, get it the right way round, make sure I don't blind anyone. Right. So go along here. So this is Cornwall Council, I presume, employee parking, and I think I tallied these up for 22 spaces, which are permit holders. Now, are these employees that are employed elsewhere, or is this general? We don't know. The coach park, if you go in and you go in the coach park, I counted that is actually spaces for 21 coaches when you go in around there. So this is the car park. You drive in there, and I don't think these days we have 21 coaches. I might have done back in the 80s, 90s, but
No, we do, it does get used during the summer.
21 though, Joanna.
It's the only coach park we have.
Well, no, they've got Coach Park up at Tregonwell.
Not anymore, they can't get in there. They've got height restriction there, they can't get in.
But it's all marked out for coach parking up there.
Well, it might be.
Well, they can't get in.
So it's,
but
Tregonwell is, now it's only 2/3 of the size, if not
Yeah.
less. I mean, there is no
but
room for coaches.
they have put it's
Anyway,
always surfed in it.
It's not
But-
part of this application. I mean, I see you saying there is an alternative, and I wasn't
Where they could
thinking of-
extend it, you know, it's sort of
Well, they haven't told us any of that.
because the objection that's come in is the main concern is about car parking and car parking on Tolkien Road. For local residents and for school pickup, I think it's going to really struggle on there. I just see it being inadequate. I know they're saying it being unsustainable and everything, but
Because they haven't given us
No.
the information.
I suppose they've done what we've asked, haven't they?
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's true, by the train station, people like coming by train to work.
Land ownership boundary. So that's interesting, isn't it? So I mean, there they've got actually car parking spaces marked. Oh, come
That's
on.
Cornwall Council ownership, presumably.
Yeah, on here, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
So I think they probably will have alternatives for car parking. It's just that they haven't.
Still own that,
Yeah, and just haven't talked about them. Yeah,
as I say, it is disappointing
yeah.
that they didn't, and they still haven't explained what the usage is anticipated. But I don't know, do we want to maintain an objection, or shall we at this point say no objection? On the basis that as the things stand at the moment, there appears to be adequate. Joe?
Just a quick question. This may sound like a silly question, but because the red line site's moved now to incorporate these spaces, is there a guarantee that those spaces are protected and won't be used for something else?
Oh, that's a good question. I think when they present a planning application which says this is the red line site and this is how it's going to be used, if they then started developing on those spaces, they would need to, I mean, they would need to put another application. I mean, this is Cornwall Council, so it tends to be.
Those spaces are already there.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
No, I think it's, this is part of a, and I mean, I noticed that they asked the planning officer who is leading on the railway redevelopment. I don't think he came back with any comment, but somebody said do ask him whether, so it's, but John, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, there was talk a few years ago about demolishing the police station. Is there not a new overall plan? That's been cancelled now, is it?
Yeah.
Because it was on the books.
They'll do it sometime, but it's going to take years.
So there's no overall plan for that area at all then? No?
No, they've got
Okay.
the money for it.
Well, they have a master plan, but they haven't got the 7 million or so that it needs to actually do it, which is not that much money these days.
This is the first time I've seen this application, so I'm probably on a bit of a catch-up. But as a parent who has 2 children now, who goes to that school, and having spoken to many other parents about that road for drop-off and pick-up, I mean, everyone is absolutely delighted that the lollipop person has been reinstated over towards the tennis club and that thing there, but we always park in another car park associated with a supermarket nearby, and we walk in, but it is chaos, utter chaos, and I and many other parents worry that it is a ticking time bomb until a child is seriously injured there, seriously injured, if not worse. And I don't know if there's anything that we as a group can do to change the current situation, but I just wanted to kind of flag that up.
Do you feel as though this particular application will contribute to the danger that
Well, I like I said, I don't know.
The school is fairly long way away though, isn't it?
No, it's not. And it's not a one-way street.
There's an entrance around the back.
Oh, there's no train.
Yeah,
There's a new bike route as well, isn't there?
You can drop off and you have to pick up from the back gate.
Yeah.
If you're picking up your child, you have to pick your child up from the back gate, which is literally just down that road.
Yeah, you're right, it's chaos.
Yeah, it's utter chaos. And part of that road is one way, part of the road is two-way. You have the massive coaches going down that road that have just dropped all the kids off at Tretheris and Treviglas that morning. And those drivers are clearly in a hurry to get somewhere. And it's just, you know, parents are trying to get to work, they've had stress, you know, it is an area that is, I worry, that's going to be very bad in the future. And this could potentially contribute to it. I don't know.
Not strongly enough to actually object.
I'm concerned it's like visitors to this. So I mean, all they talk about is the, you know, Cornwall Council employees, and they're going to do, you know, split shifts and working at home and all of that. So I doubt if there's even enough, you know, parking space for that. But there's no parking for visitors. That you could be a parent. This is basically, you know, a child centre hub. That you're going to be a parent with 2 children. Where are you going to park? If you've got an appointment with someone at 3 o'clock, you know, you're potentially stuffed. You could be parking, you know, a long way away. Could be height of the summer when you don't have the school on, and that's a whole different ball game. So I think the car parking is still a serious issue that they're really underplaying. And
I must have assumed the 14 spaces were for visitors. You're saying
they're not designated.
Well, they
for
haven't
anybody.
actually. This is
No.
the disappointing thing: is they have not come back
No.
with a parking.
No, they haven't. And it's, you know, they do have the large car park next door, which I thought they could have had some leeway over to, at certain times of the day, at certain times of the year, utilise that. Because quite frankly, you know, in September and in school season, there's not going to be 21 coaches in that car park. That could be used for a school drop-off, you know, as a visitor car park, couldn't it? I think, personally, I'd still object on the car parking side of things. I do not think it's adequate enough when there is that large, huge space opposite, adjacent to it, and it's even got a gateway into that car park. Let's go, there we go. Here, there's a gate, there's a barrier. If you do, you can drive into the car park with the street view, and you can see there's a gateway there. So it's obviously, it has been connected, and they've just put the fencing along here. So I don't think it's that hard to really overcome this.
So, because this is the first time I've really seen it in detail. What we're basically saying is we're not against having the hub
No.
as a central thing. It's just that we got serious concerns of how the parking relates to the parking and for the school, where visitors are going to go. And I assume we've had some, yes, I didn't actually, oh, that's Dirk, so yes. Building is due to house 100 plus employees plus visitors. So if he's right about that.
No,
Well,
that's down tall trees and the back down there. Yeah, but no, that's,
I do think that they haven't, I mean, I don't know where he's getting, Mr. Parker is getting his figures from, but if he's right about 100 plus employees, then there's absolutely no way that there is enough.
They promoted this when they were doing the railway thing at the Hotel Victoria.
Yeah.
So, because I looked at this then, because I said they needed to do more on the outside development of the site rather than just having a bit of grass there.
Yeah, I slightly disagree when he talks about hotels, because effectively our policy says it's got to be adequate for the use. And we've actually got something from Cornwall Council saying it's below standard. So there is no reason why we should not, I mean, the likelihood is that if we objected, we'd probably get ignored. They'd probably come back saying no. But effectively, they haven't produced any evidence to say. But they have done what you asked, and I think we're still in no objection territory, with serious concerns about how this is going to work. Because at the last time you said the problem was the 14 spaces not being on the red line. You can't really turn around now and say, well, we didn't mean that. We meant even with the 14 spaces, there's not enough. I agree. I don't think there's enough, but
Just to say, those 100 staff, a lot of them will be in and out.
Yeah.
They won't be based there all day. A lot will work from home. I mean, Louise and I worked up at Dole Coath. You know, there was a car park there, but that would not have accommodated. I mean, it was pretty big, wasn't it? It would not have accommodated if every person was in, but the premise is you're in and you're out. We had a pass to go in, but in truth, they've done what we've asked, and I know Newquay Junior or Edgecombe, as I know it, you drop off in the morning, they allow you to park in the car park, don't they, Heron Centre? I've only done that because I've dropped my nephew's kids off.
Only now. Like, so they've only just...
Well, that's where I've picked them up from. Like, you know, they've walked from
the last few years you haven't, but they've started it again.
okay. No objection, no objection, because I agree with Margaret. I think because we limited our objection to it's outside, we can't now turn around and say we sort of. But I think we can ask for a parking. We would want to see a parking paper to explain how you see the parking working, and how it isn't going to detract from the parking available to residents and other businesses. Yeah. Does that pretty much? So I'll propose no objection on that basis, but we are very concerned that this will not work and this will cause problems. So, show of hands for no objection. 3.
I'm going to register an abstention.
You're going to abstain?
I'm abstaining on that.
2. Yes, 3 abstentions, so it passes. Yeah. But if you could reflect that we are not happy.
No.
We are very unhappy about it, but we just don't know how it's going to work. Sort of parking, a paper that explains how their parking requirements and how they see it working. Because if Mr. Parker is right about the over 100 employees, then how many are going to be in situ? I mean, it could be a hot desk situation. So.
But it's and visitors as well, isn't it?
Yep.
You know, even if there's only 50 employees and half of them there,
yeah, there aren't any.
And they've all got meetings and things. I mean, it is meant to be a hub for social services and everybody coming in and out. I think that, you know, it's just not adequate.
So
I think in this day and age, to expect a parking space for everybody, you just don't get it. Newquay Hospital staff, district nursing, there's 40 of them. There isn't 40 spaces up there. So I think, you know, the train station's there, and with the whole new link and the bike lanes, whatever, that's what they're hoping, that people will start to use transport in a very different way. That's what the town team keep telling us, isn't it?
yeah. Leave it when I see it, but I think that's where we are. And if in a couple of years, well, after they've built it, which will be years away, we can then say, we told you so. But I think, I wouldn't want us, I don't think this is a showstopper. And I think the danger is that if you then, John, you wanted to say that?
I was going to say the new bike lane, which has been posted by all the properties around there, has got rid of about 20 parking spaces.
It's only down the road, isn't it?
It's only down the road, but it's about 20 parking spaces down there.
I don't think the road is wide enough for.
Well, down there, you could used to park there.
I know Councillor Gardner actually did a sort of TRO.
There was never a survey. I mean, there's never hardly ever seen bikes up that road.
Parking. I think we are where we are, and I think we've had the vote. I mean, we could. I agree with you. I got serious concerns, but I think
It's a shame the school hasn't said anything about it.
Yeah. Okay, so application 3 is. Do we have anything from the tree officer on this?
No.
I I mean, anybody feel themselves, it's sort of pruning the maples, it doesn't seem to be cutting them down. I would suggest no objection, subject to a positive response from the tree officer.
Well, it doesn't say 1 metre from what, because it talks about the crown. Is that all over the crown? Is that the top of the crown? Is it the size of the crown? So, yeah, which I found quite inadequate.
Yeah.
So we need a tree officer, and they talk about 2 trees, and there's 3 trees there. So, yes, we need a tree officer report, please. Before, I don't think can decide on that.
So yes, so no objection, subject to a positive report from the tree officer. Anybody got anything you want to add to that? We're not tree experts, or you might be a tree expert. You only know baby trees. You don't know about big
I know
ones.
big trees as well, thank you very
Right,
much.
is there a seconder for no objection, subject to Margaret? Thank you. Show of hands for no objection.
But it does need that, does need the officer support,
Yeah. Okay, no, I won't say anything. Application 4, PA 24/05925 to Garion Hill. I've noticed there's been some correspondence on this, so I think you're going to present this one, Sarah.
Right, I am indeed. Okay, so if we can look at, there's an objection. Okay, we'll go through the book's made up for number 2, isn't it? Where's application 4? Is it in here?
I've got them on the screen.
Oh, okay.
I'll say from there. It should be in there, but I've got them on the screen as well.
I can't see it in
There's so
here.
many comments on the.
So it would help. Yeah, it's not in here. Can you read the comment first, because there's the initial thing was that it was a bit of a hodgepodge and very confusing and a bit of a mess. So the next door neighbour, the gist of it is basically the applicants used the wrong address. So then they couldn't use they used their address, the neighbours, and so then the neighbours couldn't complain with their address because it was already being used by the applicant.
Say that again slowly.
So the people that put in have used the wrong address. They've used the neighbour's address. If you read the top bit, so they couldn't complain properly because it wouldn't accept it as the address because it's the applicant's address.
But
That's
as
a new
computer
one.
says no.
No, hold on though. You can't all be living at the one place. Sorry, I haven't got that on. So basically, the neighbour is concerned that the development started 18 months ago, and that that it's not. I mean, on this it says repair of existing extension. It's not an existing extension. It's quite a large extension. That they've been digging and excavating, and they've exposed the neighbours' water mains and their sewage pipe, which I've been in communication with Megan, the planning officer, about this, which is a building regs thing, and that there's nothing to stop them actually starting digging. We'll look at the plans. They've already taken trees down when they've said that there's no trees to be impacted upon. And that the neighbour's property is only 1.3 metres away. Unfortunately, it's not clear actually which building the neighbour is, which is a shame. So there's a whole long piece in there, sort of in the objection. So
they're upper deck.
Yeah.
And why can't we find that?
Well, the address has been changed now. Well, we'll go through sort of like. So if we can have a look at the location plan first, please. Louise, thank you. So this is the upper deck, which. Hang on, let's get my pointy thing is.
So upper deck is the neighbour who's complaining. But they
No.
have put their red line sign and calling themselves Upper Deck, because that's what's
No, they've been calling themselves the farmhouse.
They are
and-
Upper Deck.
Yeah, and they are it's just really confusing as to what's going on here. Oh, come on.
Oh no, they're saying in the objection that it isn't Upper Deck, it is actually Mervyn Farmhouse.
Farmhouse, yes.
That's the confused issue.
Yeah.
So the red line site is wrong, is it?
Oh gosh, that doesn't work anymore. Well, I don't know, but we'll notice as we go through that red line on the west side to the left will change shape as well. Let's see if we go right. So this, oh come on, please, something work. John, can I borrow your? Oh, yeah, yours is brighter than. Can I borrow yours? I'm so
spent
sorry,
more
John.
money on his than we.
Yeah, I'm so thank you.
It's not a cat toy, it's a real one.
Yeah, it's a real one. Right, on. Oh, look at that. Oh,
Screw bits instead of power.
yeah. So this is the road that goes through the village, yeah, and so it's really this odd-shaped boundary that comes around here, and the house here. But this is actually the access drive for this building here as well, and I think probably the one here and the ones here. So if we go to the street view, so this is the house we're talking about. This is the tarmac drive, which the neighbour, in her objection, they say that they've dug up, and they're going to replace with hardcore. And there's a little garage here, and if we go, can you go to the right-hand side of it, Louise? If you just go down, right, so these trees have gone, and they're not accounted for, and all the shrubbery here is going to be going in terms of the landscaping, I think. And there's no porch here. So the new porch is on the change of the plans, but it's not actually in the planning application. So if you go round the other way and just drive, if you can just drive down one click, then you'll get a different, and then look back up.
So you're saying that what they're doing is not what they're applying for?
Well, yeah, that could be part of it, yeah. So that's the street plan. So if we have a look at the proposed site plan, then this border along here is a different shape to the current one. Can you, so if we have a look at that, so this is like the tarmac area, and then there's garage, you know, where's the car parking? This is all car parking, but I mean, this isn't obvious as to where this is. This is like a joint access and the road for the properties at the back. If you notice the size of this and the presence of this, if you go back to the existing one again, flip back. This is, yeah, so no porch, this is much smaller, and this is a different shape. So we've got that to contend with.
Are you sure we're looking at the right house?
Oh, yes, we are. John?
If we haven't got the right address, we cannot make a decision, can we?
Well, the address has been changed on the application according to the planning officer, so that's not grounds for objecting at the moment.
Okay. Well,
so can we have a look at the existing floor plan? This is the existing floor plan. This is the side which is by the road, and it's this area here. Nothing is labelled. According to the planning officer, they don't have to label it. It's not required. So if we look at here, so basically at the moment, I think it's a little staircase that goes upstairs. And they're putting in then a balcony in here as well. So this will change shape. Okay, so then if we look at the proposed floor plan, there we go. So that end bit is all gone. So it's not revamping an extension. It's making a much bigger extension. It is very, very faint what's there. And I couldn't see it on my laptop. So this is a balcony over here with doors then opening out onto the balcony upstairs. So, and I think, and then the porch going on the top here as well. So I think this is, Louise, can you peer at it? Can you see if there's a bedroom? There's
That's the bed.
That's the bed. So that's
the bathroom.
bathroom upstairs. And I presume this is like an island, open kitchen diner space downstairs, which then opens out then into the garden at the back. And then they've got this balcony space over upstairs, which is going in.
Can we just see that there is a visualisation?
Yeah, I haven't got there, Joanna. Sorry, who's presenting this?
Sorry.
Right, so then if we look at existing elevations, so this is the existing elevation at the moment. This is most of the differences. This is just where the porch is going to go on at the back. On the east, it's the west side here that most of the change is going to take place. So you see, there's no balcony. Have a look at watch the windows as well over here. These are going to become much bigger. And then this extension is going to be ripped down effectively and completely changed. So then if we go to the proposed elevations, see, that's then the extension. The extension then has a zinc roof on it. There's nowhere in the village, I don't think, with a zinc roof. And the objection talks about that. All these windows then are going on the garden side. So lots of windows there. This is the balcony. And again, all windows are going in there on the balcony. And there's a huge extension. And the extension is going to be wooden clad as well, with the zinc roof. So then if we go to farmhouse visualization for the front, so that's then the extension with the balcony and the extension in the infill in the middle here. And then they've got a visualization from the other side, from the garden side as well.
So what does it originally look like?
Well, all we've got is the street view. So that's it with all the windows then, and they've put this huge fence in, and I presume this is where the dugout, the excavation's taking place with the neighbour next door. So they've got these windows. So
Could I ask, what's the name of the applicant here? I might know him. Is it John Spall?
I know Gillian Campbell.
All right, okay.
I've said about there's no drainage plan anywhere. South West Water haven't picked up on this because they probably haven't picked up there's a massive extension taking place rather than just saying repair of existing extension. It's not a repair of the existing extension. It is a large new extension. And there's a large increase in the ridge height as well, which is not catered for anywhere. It doesn't say how big that's going to be.
Can I just ask, so the bit at this end, which is sort of traditional, is that the original house?
Well, they've got it all down as stone here, but if you look at the street view, it's white rendered.
Ah.
So are they ripping the whole house out? I really don't know. So it does. Yeah, well, I presume this is the bit that's the garage, but you know, where there was another piece of parking that was there. So the neighbour talks about, see, that's the garage there, but it's got garage car parking. And the neighbour talks about all the shrubbery that's been ripped out for car parking. So like here, has that already gone? I don't know. There's just, the application form says there's no implications for car parking. Yet the mock-up that they give has a car parked in the lane outside the building.
Have they a visualisation of this shot?
No. That's the only visualisation. I've shown you everything that they've given me, apart from the application form. So they're going to be ripping out all of the garden and putting in like decking and grass. You know, the trees gone. You know, some of the all the hedgerows going, as far as I can see. And they're doing all this wonderful landscaping, and it doesn't show the relationship with the next neighbour. So if we could go back down to the original site plan, the location plan. Here, you see, so if they're extending here out, that's going to be infilmed. This, I think, is the neighbour that has put in the objection. And look how close they are to that. If they're going to have the balcony here, I don't know what they're overlooking in terms of the buildings here, or over there. And within the garden, they've put a large fence in, but they have windows here. Are they going to be looking over to the properties at the back? There's no, as I said, there's no water surface treatment in here at all in terms of soakaways or things. It says it's proposed hardcore then for the tarmac, and the neighbour in the objection says that the tarmac's gone up. If we can have a look at the satellite image, I think, didn't I put? Can we close it? So this is the house, that's the Enfield, that's the extension. And you can see that the lane sort of like comes along past their house. So all this shrubbery here, which is now that different red outline to what they're showing, I presume that's being ripped out or is already gone. But this is the lane then that comes around and obviously services this house, and I presume this is a house here. So it's really confusing, and I'm really sorry, that's the best I can do.
So the neighbour's house, or whoever's house it is actually quite large.
Yeah.
And that's the house that's been changed immediately above it.
Yeah.
But it's still not going to be anything like the same size as
No.
the neighbour's house.
No, I mean well, we don't know how many houses are here, of course, and I don't know what this building is. Actually, looking at it from satellite, I mean, it's got two gables here. Can we have a look at the proposed elevation? Proposed elevations. They're still there, aren't they?
Can we go back to that picture again?
What, the satellite image? Yeah.
So the two gables are...
They're still there, so that's in there.
Those are the two gables.
But there's the windows.
So that balcony's filling in that.
This gap here.
So it overlooks
Yeah.
the road.
So there's a building. There's underneath, and then there's a ground floor, and then there's the balcony on top. Yeah. And then this extension, obviously, is going to be ripped out. I don't know what this bit is. It's not on the plans. So this extension here is obviously going to be ripped out, and then the ridge height is increasing. I don't know what the implications for that extension of ridge height is going to be for the property behind.
So, are you thinking of making a recommendation?
So I'd recommend objection on grounds of potential overlooking, lack of information that's been given on.
So you're saying the plans are unclear.
The plans are
and
unclear.
Possibly incomplete.
And they're incomplete. The red line border changes between the current site and the proposed site, and it's not clear what we're giving planning approval for. I'd question whether the zinc roof is in keeping within the village if it's all grey slate. Somebody help me out here. Yes, it's not. Yes, it's a new extension. The balcony is not, mentioned. Is sort of, we're concerned with overlooking with neighbours.
So you're saying the description isn't accurate,
Yeah,
the plans are unclear,
yeah,
don't know how this may or may not affect the neighbours because it's not
Yeah.
been made clear.
yeah.
That's probably enough to object. Anybody want to second that objection? Yep, Margaret's seconding it.
Is that okay, Louise? Because I know Megan, you're copied in, weren't you, on the email that Megan gave,
Who's the officer?
who was the planning officer, when I expressed my concerns. So I think some of those things, I think we need to go back to her and see what she comes back with.
Come back with again, sorry?
Well, she said that the objectors' concerns about the state of the water, that, did we need to get South West Water involved in this with plans? And she said that wasn't part of us, that would be building regs, that they could start, because they've already started this process already and they are within their rights to do that, but they risk then having to rectify it, if it's found, if it's not given as being, if it's not passed,
Yeah.
then they have to put it all back.
Yeah.
So it's a risk on their part.
And the neighbour who's complaining about the development, or has concerns, apart from the use of the wrong address, they were saying that it's overbearing, or?
She did consider, because it's only 1.3 metres away from her property. Now, whether she meant that property boundary or from her house, I don't know. There was a lack of clarity on that. It would have helped if this person had turned up and had given clarity and actually pointed out which house was hers. I don't know, but I think there's a lot of concerns there, and like with the ridge height change, that we don't know how tall that is, and the effect then of outlook from the property to the east. So I think there's. Did you get that as well?
Because I think for me, I agree that we should support this application as it stands, but I think it's just the kind of mental positioning that we've got in saying, if it's, are we inclined to approve it? Should we get more information? Because is it our job to stop people from doing stuff to their homes if it's within an acceptable community approach, or not? So
the people
I guess
that own this house aren't here.
So the position.
yeah, well, they don't have to be,
Our
do they?
position is that we improve extensions, providing it doesn't affect the character of the area or the thingy for the adjacent people,
Yeah.
the amenity of the adjacent people. And what we're saying is we can't tell from this.
Yes, and that's my point, is if we can't tell, we can't approve stuff. So if they come back with more information, then we would look at it based on the detail, but we don't have the detail. So for me, it's not about whether we think it's too close or not, or this or that. It's actually we don't have enough information to make that decision, because I think we need to support people investing in their properties, but whether this is the right one, we just don't know.
Okay, so we've got an objection. John, did you want to say something?
I think it's a really good design. It's like a sort of grand design concept, really. I approve it, but subject to sort of more information, more detailed information. But overall, I think it's a really good design, but we need a specific address, maybe sort of latitude and longitude, if nothing
It's
else.
quite a special village, so it'd be interesting to see how it fits in. Okay, so how we have a show of hands for objection? John, you're going to abstain. So that's 4-1. That's fine. And I don't think we can talk about it anymore because I agree with you. I think it's totally confusing.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one is, that's one of mine, which is PA 24/06649, which is 6 Atlantic Road. So if we could start with the location, please, Louise. Can you blow that up a bit? Right. So what this application is on 2 documents only. Very, very busy documents and no logical. So what I have done is I have cut out various bits to display. And this is the first bit I was saying. So, can I use the magic tool? How do you switch it on?
You just press the red button.
So this is it. There's the red thing. It's right opposite our car park. What I think is worth noticing at this point is at the back there have been all sorts of extensions of all sorts of varying lengths, so it's worth noting that. Because what they want to do is and it's almost in 2 halves, they want to do something on the front and they want to do something on the back. So, can we look at the first photo? Right, so it's number 6. That's what it looks like. This is Atlantic Road. And just to get this in context, can we see the next picture? Can you not just flick from picture to picture? So yes, like that. So go back. You can see that there's all sorts of dormers on the front. They've got every single dormer known to man. If you flick to the next one, see every dormer known to man. So, but they're all different, which is worth seeing. But what they all have is they have this beautiful bay window, this traditional bay window that is so traditional of New Quay development, and they all more or less respect that. So can we then, so that's that one and that one, right. So this is the plans for what is there at the moment. So what they want to do on the roof is they want to get rid of that dormer there, and they want to build a dormer like that, which comes right down to the roof of the bay. Now there isn't another dormer exactly like that, but I mean with all that mishmash of different dormers, I don't think there's right at the end. If we go back to the previous picture, right down there, those have sort of
Right down the other end, sorry.
right, can we go back one again? These are slightly different because that doesn't look like it's the same build as this. It looks like it's come later. But yes, you're right. They've got balconies and all the rest of it. So my point was that this is the only one who's actually doing it like this. But I think it's because of there's such a mishmash of styles. If we can go back to that plan, my problem with this is this. Because what they want to do, they want to bring out the balcony and stretch it in front of the bay window. And that's not been done by, so they've got a matching bay that, can we go back to the photograph which showed the picture of with his neighbour? Back one, they'll do, there you go. So that's it. So those are the only, when I say more or less respected the bay, because these are the only 2 that have actually filled in like that, where they've got a balcony in between the bays, but they still have preserved the bay. So what he wants to do is he wants to bring that right forward so it stretches in front of that bay window. And nobody has done that.
I think that's the street scene.
Yes. Yeah. And it's such
visible iconic street.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So funnily enough, I've got no problem at all what he wants to do up there. All there, but I have a big problem with that. So that is crumbs. So that's my problem with the front. The next thing is just to have a quick look at the south section. So just for the moment, don't look at the front. And you can see that's what it used to look. That's what it looks like now. And there you go. There's the balcony is sticking out quite a long way from there. You've also got...
It's got 2 balconies though.
No, it hasn't. I don't think it has. You have to say it looks like that's a balcony. That is a good
Yeah,
point.
because
It looks like it's got a
it
balcony
doesn't
there,
come flush. That is a second balcony over the bay window.
but it isn't. If we go back to the previous slide,
Yes, it is because the
right. So they're not suggesting there that there is a balcony. So there seems to be. You're right. There is a conflict between what that one says, because that is not saying there's a balcony there.
Can I just use the pointer a minute?
Yeah.
So basically, because we're looking at it directly straight on, then we're presuming that this is on top of the roof, flush
Yeah.
with the roof, but the bay window is coming out in front of it.
Yes.
And these are doors.
So you think there is a balcony there?
I think that given that cross section,
Yep.
that there's
You think there's a balcony there?
a balcony there that you then stand on top of the bay roof. I think there's 2 balconies.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the question. The point I would make is if on that there is no balcony, but if we then go to the next one, it certainly implies that there's a balcony. So I want some clarification on that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a problem with having a balcony there, because that is very similar to the one that Margaret pointed out, the white one. Although it's a different style, they have balconies up on that level. It's that balcony that I think causing me the problem. Right, while we're here,
And does that lower balcony that they're proposing, what are they calling it, a terrace? Is that going to be able to see straight in next door?
that would be another.
Yeah.
That would be again. My main concern is that it completely ruins the line of the protection of the bays.
Yeah.
But yes, you'd actually have to say, if you are going to have a balcony there, would you be able to come stand on it and
It'd
look
just be
back?
awful.
Possibly not, because the well, I don't know. That's it. They haven't provided whether there's any overlooking, but I wouldn't accept it anyway. So while we're here, we might as well look at the back. So they've got, it's a really funny, and I'll show you pictures of it in a minute. They've got a sort of sideways dormer there, and they've got sort of windows and various stuff. And what they want to do is to do an extension out, keep the bay, and then they're going to do a big extension on the ground floor, and then they're going to make it bigger there. If we could have the next one, please. Right, this is the back. A thing of great beauty. We don't get involved in land ownership issues, because the boundary appears to be there. The actual boundary is there, just outside of the chimney. So I have no idea on which land, or who owns that car, or on which land it's parked.
On the plan, that chalet's gone, isn't it? They knocked that chalet down.
Yes. What it is you've got this chalet. It's a bit smart word for it. You've got this house here. This thing here is what's called a gym stroke store. It is actually separate from that building. So that building stops there. This has come right forward with the square roof. I'm just worried about, I don't know if he's spoken to his neighbour, because he's going to put a new boundary fence in. And I think that car is parked where he wants to put the boundary, but there you go. Can we see the next one? Right, so this is the joy of the back row. There it is there. Carry on, next one. So there's our house. This is the one that's next door. This one comes out a bit further still. They've all done the same thing. They've all preserved that bay window at the back, but they've all done something different to it. The next one, there we go, at the end. By the time you get to the end, it completely changes. So effectively, precedent is not a problem. So if we can go back to, I think the next one is probably a plan, is it? Oh, no, back to where we were. Right, here we go. It doesn't really the plan I think is quite confusing, because what they've done, and we're going to look at the floor plans in a minute, which will make it clearer, is they've knocked down the gym. They're making a square where they had, and you can see the red line is the original roof and that sort of funny balcony looking sideways. What they're doing is they're taking that and they're squaring it off in exactly the same way as next door has done it. my main problem with this, they are preserving the bay. My main problem is that it's actually coming out in front of that bedroom window. On the other hand, the next door neighbour has done exactly the same thing. So effectively it's coming out in front of that, it's blocking its own window. Can we see the next one? Right, this makes it clearer what they're trying to do. So on the ground floor, they've where the gym was is there. So they've got the ground floor extension, which is slightly longer than the one that is next door at the moment, but it isn't longer than the one that's 2 doors down. So it's already been set there. You can see they've got roof lights there. So that's going to be a dining. Well, that's the dining room, and they're just extending that. They're going to draw. It's wider, obviously. They're going to put a new boundary in. And they're going to, if you see they're sitting on that, and you see how lovely it was at the back there, they've got this fantasy that they're going to be sitting on this balcony. And this here, which is where the gym is going to be a garden. Which seems a little unlikely, but there you go. And they're putting a new boundary here. Now, I'm not sure whether that boundary wall they're putting in is actually on the red line site. I think they might be building that in their neighbour's garden. So again, I would ask, is there a party wall? And because they appear to have put the whole of the new boundary, which is going to be a bit of a shock to because the original was there. The original was there, so they're now saying, no, we're going to put the boundary down the line of our house, which I think is absolutely fair. But I think they've slightly overdone it by the fact that that looks like it's past. It looks like they've put the whole of that wall on their neighbour's land.
Have they got a rear access to the back lane?
Yes.
They have.
Can we go back right to the first location? The first location.
Yeah, but that's the neighbours.
Hang on, we'll get there. I got there, right. So it's there. So
No,
there's
they don't,
this is a lane.
Tower Road.
Yeah.
That's not Tar Road. That's not. This is Tar Road.
Higher Tower Road.
Higher Tar Road. This is the lane.
But they don't. It's on the corner. They don't have an access to the lane.
They do.
Can you go forward again? Yes, you do. You do. They're not planning to park a car there.
No, I know, but I'm just thinking of.
They can get in there because I got in there. So there's a bit there which you can get into, but theirs is there. If we go on 2 or 3 till we get to the, there we go. It's, the boundary is not there. The boundary is there.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying, but it doesn't have it. That is the car park that the neighbour's on, isn't it?
Yes.
So that house does not have an access to that back lane.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
They all do.
What's the car there?
That's the neighbours.
Oh, there might be a gate there or something. They can get in. Trust me, they can get in. And it doesn't matter because we do not do land ownership, but effectively they should have a gate there. That gate, I don't know who owns that gate. It could be theirs.
Well, it's painted blue like the shed to the left, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it isn't. I think the neighbour has actually encroached because what they've done is they put the boundary up where the gym is, where they should be putting the boundary there, which is what they're saying they're going to do. They're saying they're opening that up and they're going to have a space there.
I have the feeling that if you look on the deeds, there might be a shared access issue there, because I bought a property with a shared driveway before. Now there could be an arrangement, and I wonder. I mean, you're quite right to raise that as an issue. You shouldn't be building on shared access.
Yeah.
But I think the only way you can resolve that is by referring to the deeds.
Yeah, which is not anything planning does.
No.
So what they're saying is they are doing everything down their line.
Well, we can't agree to that. They won't have rights to build on their land if it's shared.
They're saying, if we go back to the first one again, right to the first one, they're saying the red line site goes down there.
Can I just borrow
But
that?
it may well do, but if you...
Can you blow that up a bit, Louise?
The property next door may have an overlapping...
Yeah,
red line
they
site.
may or may not. These plans are saying, yes, I think they need to talk to their neighbours. You can see where the boundary is. The boundary is, yeah, there. The current fence, not the boundary, the current fence is that runs along that little building at the back.
That's the gate there. Yes?
Now, there is quite a big space there. So effectively that house behind is not blocking the lane. So they've just drawn it, there's
So this
steps.
house doesn't exist?
It exists, it's got steps. In fact, I was standing on the steps when I took the picture.
Okay,
So-
so, but if this is the shared access, so at the moment the gate is here.
No, sorry, you can't say shared access. All I can say is they are saying that the red line site is there.
But if that's the red line of their property,
Yes,
there is no access here to the lane. It's on the corner, isn't it?
there is. Trust me, there is.
There's two ways.
You take the fence away and you'll be there.
Well, the concern I have is like building all of this is for fire to get then through the property. It could be when they've got no way of getting out.
I'm sorry.
Say, my sister lived at number 7,
Yes, so
which
you
is where
understand
car
that.
is. You could get up one, so you see that house that you're saying doesn't exist? It's a cottage.
Yeah,
You can get
yeah.
up one side or the other side. but you
So
can't
it is, right,
access all
okay.
the
There is
property.
there
You
is
can actually
definitely
get around.
access because
Right,
I was
okay.
there.
Yeah.
But I do think there is a problem between 6 and 7 about where the boundary is. But that's
But
not.
that's not
our
taken
problem.
into consideration.
It could be their problem.
There's the cottage. You can get that way or the other side. See where the other sign is on that cottage?
Oh, we can go down there.
There we go.
There we go.
Oh, it's got a different car. He said there is definitely a way through, because I got there, because there's a way through, there's a way through there.
But there's no gap there though.
Trust me, there is a gap. I
Okay.
walked down it.
We can probably have concerns about the access.
Yeah, is that all we have concerns about then?
No, the access is behind this building here. There is a lane. It's just, it doesn't actually show it to you. But trust me, there we go, there we go. Now
I
you
feel
have to-
sick if we watch this.
I think they have a problem with their neighbour because the usage of the line, and this is all we can say, is that the according to the red line, according to their red line site, they have access, but it's currently built on by the neighbour. Maybe. I mean, that could be their car for all you know. I mean,
There's a lack of property boundary line again, isn't it? that we
yeah,
can
well, I
see?
think if they haven't closed that area for 12 years, they can actually say we own it because we've got by what's the word, by default, not by default. So anyway, but that is not our problem. But there does seem to be a problem because what they're saying is they're going to move the wall over. Can we go back to the floor plan again? Which was right there. So they're basically saying they've got this space here, which they don't at the moment, because at the moment they've got it, the boundary goes along that wall there. So what they have done is they have slightly extended.
Can you really enlarge that, Louise? I can't see that from what I can't see what it says.
Okay. Right, this is where I think they could have a problem, because I think that wall is not on their red line site. Now, when you have a party wall, you'd expect half of it to be on their property and the other half to be on their neighbour. So there is a definite problem in the sense that it looks like that the wall is not being built within the red line site.
Has he got any details about the size of the wall and everything that's going to
Well,
go
it looks
there?
quite thick, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, but
Sorry, John.
This is a very common problem when building extensions on. You have to have an agreement with the neighbour that you can actually dig part of the land up to put the foundations in, because the foundation's wider than the boundary itself. As long as they got the legal permission from the neighbour to do that. And on the front of it, it's like you're overlooking a graveyard. They're not going to complain about overlooking, are they?
No,
apart from the odd
graveyard's further
golfer,
over.
and you can't see it from afar.
But it's the balcony to one side.
Ignoring
so-
ignoring the boundary implications, does anybody have a problem with what they are trying to do? I mean, I don't, because I think it's been done by everybody else on that street. So the precedent has been set. As I say, the top floors are going to, if we can go back one, sorry, Louise. Back one again. Do we get a picture? Yeah. It's rough, it's going to be like that one, because it's square. As opposed to this one, which is pitched. But other than that, I think,
There's no side windows then on the extension.
no, what they've done, they're getting rid of the extension. Can we go back one again? There is, as you can see, they themselves have got,
Oh, yeah, and a balcony.
and that's going. That's going, because they're bringing out that to square it off like, so it will look like that one. It's actually going to be more like that one, I think.
Yeah,
But, I mean, they're not things of great beauty,
no.
but yeah, I think there is I think you were right, I think there is definitely entrance there, but there is a problem with the current usage and whether the boundary is within the red, you say, is the boundary within the red line, within the red line site? That's the way to put it. So, I would going to propose objection on the basis of the front. I was going to propose objection on the basis of what they want to do on the front on the first floor. I would like clarification as to whether they're putting a balcony on the second floor, because the plans differ. One of them indicates it does, and I'm not sure I'm worried about having a balcony up there, but I do think it differs. I think definite objection on that. I don't have a problem with what they are doing at the back, other than the fact that I think there is a problem with the red line site, and I think there is a problem with their current uses, which they have to sort out with their neighbour. So I would be no object. If it was just the back, I would be no objecting. But on the front, I would be definite. So that's what I'm proposing as objection. Francis.
Oh, sorry, no, I was scratching.
Francis. So,
Not just public.
Sorry. All the meeting.
so in principle, I think what they want to do at the back, unless they start a civil war, is a no objection. And there is an objection to the top dormer I can probably live with, although it is different. But I would definitely object on the basis of the first floor balcony.
And we
In
have to
fact,
object the whole thing, don't we?
Yes, so we can't, but it's sort of in principle, they don't have to break their neck about the back, but they do have to think very strongly about the front. So is there a seconder for that? Francis, thank you. So show of hands for objection. John, you're not sure?
I'm very sure, no objection from me.
You're no objection, fine.
I
So
mean,
four-
how can you complain about overlooking a graveyard? I just don't understand it.
Well, the graveyard is further on.
Atlantic Road Play
We
Park.
go straight to the first, just straight to the first location one.
I think it's this side.
The graveyard is there, cemetery. No, hang on, I might get it wrong.
Well, there's no
No,
one.
that's, I'm getting the wrong place.
Then you've got a golf course, there's no one there. I
No,
fancy
this is
the-
our car park, John.
Yeah.
They've got a beautiful view of our car park, and then the green fence that's there. And the cemetery's up there.
But it's the balcony, it's to do with the neighbours, John, and effectively they're going to be sticking out, and then they can look back into the neighbour's window.
I'll repeat, no objection for me.
Yeah, they're going to, well, that's fair enough, it's definitely entitled. So my objection is the fact that they're putting that balcony over the bay, which is a historic feature. These are actually non-designated heritage assets, because that's how they were identified in the CSAS study. So all of these houses are non-designated heritage assets, and I think that is what they're proposing to do, is going to just, totally draw that act.
So are we quoting the neighbourhood plan on that one as well?
Yes,
Yes, I think
because
so.
the neighbourhood plan, and I'll dig it out for you, does actually talk about the terrace houses and the bays.
Yeah.
And it actually specifically talks about them as a special feature, because all of these roads, Tar Road, St John's, all of them have got these beautiful bays. It's
Yeah.
right. So I think that I think that actually kills that one. Right. The next one, is that going to be mine as well? She says in a horrified voice. Right. Sorry, I'm just going to sort myself out. Right, so the next one is, 17 Penina Avenue. Confirm. Is everybody getting this new message which says confirm when you want to go in? Yeah. So this is PA 24/03850. And again, I have got a series of, so is that the first illustration? Where are we?
Above the Gannel.
Yeah, it's there. So yes, so it's yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's on that corner of Chichester Crescent and yeah. So if you can look at that wasn't the next one that came up. Yeah. Right. This is from the system design document. As you can see, they haven't actually done half the building. It must be a very, very old picture, but it does at least show you that's the building. And these two are really a pair. They're not like anything else in the place, but those two are really a pair. So if you can look at the next one, and that's just, this is the house. That's number 17. And I'm just saying the context, that's coming up from the Gannel, coming up Penina, and you can see the two houses there on the left, slightly more close up. They've got quite a nice, nice walled garden in there. And that's looking the other way, down to the Gannel. And this, you can see this house is really close. Oh, could you go back to a moment, back to the picture of the house? That's the one. The one thing I am worried about, this thing's got a life of its own, is that window there.
Yeah.
So bear that in mind. Right, okay. Next one. Right, these are the pictures from the, obviously they took it on a sunny day. When I took it, it was raining. But these are the sort of various views which they've taken. So they've got a big garden. This is the summer house they want to knock down. Again, there's the, look at that a moment. There's nothing really behind it. You've got a big garden there. That's the walled garden I showed. So it's got quite a big garden. If you can see the next one, I think I blew up. Yes, I blew up that one, because again, they're doing something here, and they're doing something here, and you've got that window there. And I'm concerned about that. So if you can see the next one. Right, so this is what the system design document says it's going to look like. What they're doing is they're going to stop using that garage as a garage. They're going to use this area there for parking. And then they're putting this large dormer. I suppose you describe that as a dormer.
Chicken shit.
Yeah, whatever it is. And they're telling us how great it is to use wood. Personally, I think that sticks out like a sore thumb. So effectively, they're changing, that is where the garage was, and this is where the summer house was at the back. And then the master bedroom's got this fabulous balcony looking over towards the Gannel. So, as I said, my concern, basically, is that window looking straight onto that. So that's what it's going to look like. Next one, right, so this is just showing, this is again from the system design document, that's what it looks like at the moment, and that's the footprint. It's got this rather funny roof shape, and that is the external balcony. So I'm not sure why they did it like that, but there you go. This is the next door house. Next one. Right, these are the this is the floor plans, the proposed floor plans. So you've got here, where the garage was, here are the two cars. So we've got two cars speaking there. So where the garage is, they've got an office and a storeroom. I think that, oh, and a bedroom. That's right. They're putting another bed. This is the guest room. So they got three. This is the master bedroom, which was absolutely fabulous. Great balcony, walk-in wardrobe, super ensuite bathroom. I fancy that. And then they've got 2 other bedrooms.
They're just going to find you there, aren't they?
Yeah, I thought that bedroom was absolutely lovely. And the poor old guest gets shoved at the back of the garage, of what was the garage. And that's what the roof space looks like. Again, I think I found that a funny shape, but
So you can lie in bed and look at the view.
just about, yeah. It's upside down. I mean, I think that should be the lounge, but there you go. They've got the lounge on the ground floor. Right, next one, please. So this is their plans. So they're saying this is what it looks like now, and this is what it will look like from Penina Avenue.
It's very odd having that pitched roof, isn't it?
Well, it's not quite a dormer, is it? It's sort of
No.
hanging in midair.
It looks like having that double gable end, effectively.
Yeah. I'm a little worried about the brown, but there you go. Next one, please. Right, this is looking down the hill. Whoops. Whoa, magic.
There we go. Yeah.
That's looking down the hill, is that right? Yes.
Yeah.
So there is nothing on, if you look back at that photograph, there is a house below it, but when you actually look at the pictures, there's nothing below it. I think that's the new balcony.
Yeah.
About the house in Chichester.
Sorry?
Corner.
Yes.
So they've got a corner with a garden, but there's a house
Yes.
in Chichester.
If we go right back to the location plan. Right, ooh, there's Chichester. If you go on the next, when I'm taking.
So actually, yes, no, it will all look straight into there. That
Yeah,
balcony
so
will look straight into theirs.
Not, I don't think.
Yes, it will. The
Yeah,
way that it's
well-
angled, because that's what they got for.
The view's that way.
They've got that. Can I just borrow the pointer a minute? So they got that funny angle at the back. So the way that they've done that is the narrow ends, so they won't be looking in, and next door number 19 can't see into theirs. But they have like this triangle effect, don't they, in here? But that balcony has got glass and it's looking straight into number 21.
So that could be a problem.
That's the problem, I think. It's what that boundary's made out of. But even then,
Could you
It
just go
doesn't-
to the next one, the next couple of photographs? Whoops. She's so keen. Back a bit. Next one. Right.
Yeah.
Forward again. So there's the house in Chichester.
so
There's that side, and
There would
because
be the
that
balcony.
would be. So
going
we would
into
need
the
to
back
look
of the
at.
balcony there, wouldn't it? The bungalow there.
Yeah. So yeah, there could be an overlooking problem, depending what the distance is. But yeah, so
Doesn't
we
look
need to
very
pick
far.
up that there could be a overlooking problem from the balcony to
21 Chichester Avenue.
yeah.
And then we've got the shadow and the outlook for
Yeah,
the building next door, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, I'm concerned about
Yeah.
the outlook of that window. Depends what that window is.
But
If it's a bathroom or a stairwell, then that's not a problem.
But that property is directly south of that one, so it's going to create shading as well, though. It is really close.
Yeah. So yeah, there could be an effect on the
Shadow
windows
and
next door.
outlook. Yeah.
I don't think I'd quite finished. Can we keep going and see? Can you do another whiz through all the?
Turning into troglodytes.
Right. Stop. Right. So that is the view from the. And what we're saying is that I've just. Oh no, I see. What we're saying is that that balcony could be overlooking Chichester,
Yeah.
21 Chichester Crescent was here. I don't think any of this is a problem.
Well, on that window, what's that window doing? Just to the right of where you've got the light.
That is. There's no.
No, in the roof. In the roof. That
That's
one.
a Velux, isn't it?
I don't know.
I don't see, that's a Velux, that's not a view. But again, you can query the window, but I think that's a Velux, where you can't look out of it. But this is well, it's a skylight, I think.
Yeah, I suppose, okay.
But this is the view that you think could be affecting someone down there. Could we see the next one? Slowly. Right. This is the garden view. So,
Yeah, I mean, look at that. Look at where the balcony is there, looking over to the right.
Yeah.
Down into the bungalow. That's a really...
There's the balcony. There's 21. It's quite a long way, and you can stand up there and go...
Yeah.
So, yes, I think they need some sort of screening, probably. It's their own garden. And again, there's the funny dormer sort of hanging out. And the next one is, right, this is what is going to be looked at from number 19. So what they're looking at now from their window, which is about there, they're looking at an extension which I think is level with them. It's quite a long, because of the hill, it's quite a long way, there is a definite slope behind them. I think more likely, then again you've got those two, now to me those look like Velux or skylights.
They're Veluxes, aren't they? Yeah.
I think those are Veluxes,
Yeah,
but it's very, very close, so I would have a concern about whether there is what's the effect on the outlook. And it may very well depend on what that window actually is.
Outlook and light
Light.
on that, yeah.
Yeah, because it looks very close to me.
That's a vertical wall that's really close to it, and it's directly south, so
Yeah.
it will shadow that window.
Have I done anything else? That's the end. So, what do you think? Yeah.
I think this is absolutely appalling design. It's one of the worst I've ever seen. We could start a precedent of people putting sheds on their roofs. So imagine that all over Newquay.
We've seen one like this before.
I've never seen one like that before. It's appalling.
Which was in Rice Drive, and we turned it down for the same reason. We said that they were building an extension, and it was like a shed on top of the roof.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I mean, I have concerns on the outlook that those two houses were built as a pair in terms of street view, and that is really incongruous on the road in terms of its building materials. It wouldn't have been so bad if it was white render like the building's made out of, but to try and do it as a new building with that cedar cladding, it does look really odd.
Can we go back?
Right, it looks like a shed on a roof.
So yes, so we got concerns about the symmetry. We got concerns about the
Aesthetics.
aesthetics of having a
I think
shed
if
on
you
the
look
roof.
at the other corner though, if you go back, so Chichester where we're looking down, that other corner of Chichester,
Keep going.
they've definitely, I feel I've been up there, they've got cladding. You can just see them come down a little bit towards me, this corner here, they've got, I'm sure they've got cladding, they joined two
Can you get a Google thing?
But I think there's a difference between cladding your house and then having a wooden shed stuck on your garage roof.
I don't think there is any. I mean, obviously every house is different.
It's an old one, isn't it, because there's two bungalows that have been re-
To make a proposal, John.
I'd like strongly object to it.
Right, okay, we've got a proposal to object on all the stuff we talked about. Is there a seconder for objection?
I'll second that.
Right. I think the reason is, as we've said, it's incongruous in its setting. We've got
We need to vote on it,
oh well, I'm just doing the reasons for the
Okay.
moment. Have you got enough from all that waffle of what we've been saying as to we think what the problem is, and we think there could be an overlook? I think there's some very nice things about it, but and it's certainly the effect on the amenity of number 19 is of concern.
I think if they'd done maybe flat roof and it was rendered and things, I think they're going to.
Okay, show of hands for objection on that sort of basis. Yes, that's unanimous. Am I right in thinking that's the last one?
Yep.
Hey.
Go you.
Can I put some lights on?
Yeah.
Can I put some lights on? So, what is next is, I take it we haven't done anything to terms of reference or risk assessment?
No changes
Right.
there.
Reports from the associated recommendations from Working Party. The only one that is active at the moment is the Newquay Neighbourhood Plan, where we did have a meeting, which was Margaret, me, Sarah and Katie. And we were blithely saying that we would be producing at this meeting a recommended response to the changes to the MPPF and other things. Of course, what we hadn't realised, it was 106 questions. So it's taking a lot longer than we expected. We've got to do this by the 24th. We've got something on Teams, and I think we will, if anybody's got access to Teams. I don't think anybody else has put any comments up yet, but.
Can I just say, I've got no broadband at home. I can't do anything at home at the moment because my fibre optic cable got
Right,
broken.
we have another meeting of the Working Party scheduled for the 20th. I think it's interesting. One of the things that I found interesting was that they explain how this formula of the new housing targets is working. And one of the arms is affordability. And they're saying that if you have more houses, then the affordability of the house will come down, which doesn't work in Cornwall. Because we have second homes and they have not allowed for that. That is the reason that the target for Cornwall is so high. And my comment would be, your formula is fine, but you've got to put in something to talk about second homes. Yeah, it's interesting. They had a debate, one of these minor debates, which all our new MPs went to, and they were sort of saying we need special arrangements for Cornwall. I don't think we do. I don't think you should say we've got to change, but I do think they need to look at the formalisation and saying your assumption is wrong. It is not that if you get more homes, if you build more, the cost of houses will go down. Because that is not the reason our houses are sky high. But whether they're going to take any notice of this is all.
I think it will, that will apply when the market forces balance out. But because the demand is so far beyond supply, until they approach each other, then it won't have an effect, whether it be a second home or not. I mean, the second home is part of that.
What they're actually saying is the cost of and there's a huge differential, as we all know, between the cost of buying a house anywhere near the coast and what people are earning.
Yeah.
But the reason for that huge differential is not based on the fact that we don't have houses, because we build lots of houses. The reason for that differential is that people are prepared to pay premium prices. Yeah. And that's why the price.
That's a reason.
That's a reason. No, it's not the only reason.
It may be a very significant reason, but it's not the only reason.
But it's not a reason they've actually allowed for. So they say with great pride, oh, well, this is going to change London, and it's going to change Birmingham, and it's going to change Manchester, and this is all great. And I'm thinking, you haven't mentioned Cornwall, because Cornwall's got one of the biggest. It's literally selling it's something like 73% increase or something. And I think it's because it's a sausage machine. These numbers are coming out of a sausage machine. And I think that's the comment I would like to put back. They will take no notice They simply won't take any notice because what they want to do is increase the targets. But there is no doubt, I think, that the Cornwall target is increased disproportionately in a county which actually done a lot of building. That's one of the many things. There's a whole load of stuff about green whatever, which we haven't got, so we don't have to worry about that. There's a lot of stuff about how much people are charging. Again, we don't know. There's an interesting bit that I'm looking up, but this is question 60. I've only got another 43 to go after that. So what I'm going to ask is to make a proposal that, in fact, that you give delegated authority to the working party, because we've got to respond by the 24th, and our next meeting is the 25th. Which is not convenient. So ideally, I would have come along with this is what we want to say, and we approve it today, and that's no problem. Well, it's not, we can't do that because it's just too many questions and it is too difficult. So what we would be doing is on the 20th, trying to anybody who is interested, and we will circulate it to people to say, this is what we think we want to say, will you approve it? But what we're asking for is, what I'm asking for is delegated authority to do that, because the meetings just don't fit properly. It's not ideal, but I think it's the best we can do. I've spoken to Duncan about this, and he's spoken to Joe, and Joe said, Joe Bewecki, and has said just that, get delegated authority to make the return. John?
Do we know how many houses have been approved down from Nansledden to Trevemper in the last few years?
We've got the numbers somewhere.
It must be
it's a large number. Oh, yeah.
So it must
we actually have, because you can't see them, we had a target of 4,400 to get from 2016 to 2030.
Is that Newquay or Cornwall?
Newquay and location. Cornwall had 52,500 to get. Currently, Cornwall's ahead of the game. And we are looking to build over not 4,400, but over 6,000. So there's no doubt the targets are going to change. But looking at the figures, I mean, I think we're looking at probably 8,000 or 9,000 for Newquay. And we aren't getting any more doctors or dentists or anything like that. I think we've got the space for it. So, and I'm almost certain that they will wait, because they waited the numbers for Newquay last time. I mean, they were adding in hundreds here and hundreds there to protect the ANOBs. They said, well, we'll take another 100 in your area. We said, yeah, why not? So we know the duchy is going to develop. And I should imagine what they're going to do if they are with this extra, I suppose it's about 2,500 for 7 years. I can't even work that out. Another 20,000 houses. I expect quite a few of them will be coming our way. And they should be, because we are over target. But I'm not sure we can cope with everything that they're coming back with.
Concern that we had was the baseline that they're working from. Because we've already got all this new housing and, projected new housing, then are they just going to put, this bog standard percentage on top of what we're already doing because we've already got so much, wasn't it? And we're sort of, but we don't have any new facilities. The infrastructure is not present in Newquay. In terms of education, public amenities, fire service, anything, do you have another?
They make comments about infrastructure.
Yeah.
But I have not yet found
a
detailed question that actually says, let's make sure that you get an extra number of doctors further. I think that's just not going to happen. I'm not sure where they think their infrastructure is going to come from, which is the comment we would make. I doubt if it's going to make the slightest bit of difference.
No.
But I think we should be going back and saying...
But at least we're on the record saying it, though.
Yes. So that's it. My proposal is that we give delegated authority to the working party, the people who are, I mean, it's basically 4 of us from this committee anyway, so you seconding that?
I'm seconding that, yeah.
Okay, show of hands for the delegated authority. Thank you very much. We will keep you in along, and what's really great is that they're coming in with themes, which means they aren't going through the MPPF and saying, well, now it's 61, now you suddenly go to 129.C, and you think, what?
Yeah.
I'm on 53, you know. So,
No, thank you.
the ultimate, I think the thrust of it is, are you going to agree with us?
Yeah.
They're not actually, and if you say no, tough. Sorry, John?
Did anyone go to the South West Water meeting yesterday?
I didn't. I went to one.
I think we should ask them what's going to happen with the water supply in Newquay. This is getting ridiculous. I didn't know, I was so busy.
I went to the one
I should have
with the
gone.
Southern Pentile Residents Association. Basically, they've got great plans. But currently, all the water in Cornwall is coming out from Pentile Headland.
My conclusion from that meeting that I also went to was that they are passing the buck to a huge number of other people, whether that be farmers or builders or anybody else that they can pass the buck to. They're going through every single one and trying to find out who else can be given responsibility for that problem and not take on the responsibility. They're not going to spend any money, not going to do anything. And on reflection from that meeting, I was very disappointed.
Which meeting is this?
That one we had up at the Pentile Hotel. Yeah, I was there. And, you know, they were exceptionally derogative about Surfers Against Sewage, exceptionally, and I think they clearly have a very, very antagonistic relationship with them, which I do not think is very professional for a what's it called, a monopoly company that is making vast profits. And Sunday, first surf life saving session on Fistral Beach after we come back from school holidays. Guess what happened?
Yeah, sewage discharge.
Cancelled because of sewage leak. You know, and it is just unacceptable. So I left there thinking, what do I think about that? I was very prepared to kind of think about it and not make quick judgment. And they were just blaming so many other people for their utter lack of investment. That's all they did, all meeting.
Saying is the decision to actually put fresh water runoff into the sewers, into the same pipe, has proved to be an utter disaster. So if you look at anything they're now recommending on any of these applications, they're coming in and saying, what are you doing with the fresh water? Because we don't want it in our sewers, which is fair enough. I mean, that's, but unfortunately, they've already got the stuff. But they have this brand new tool, where you can look after a rain or any time, you can go in and you can check where there has been a sewage outflow in the last 24 hours. So naturally, sat there and tried it. And there were 5 in Cornwall, 1 on Constantine, 1 on Tarrant Headland, 1 on Pentire Headland, 1 on the Fern Pit, and 1 down by Trinance Gardens. So 4 of the they're all coming to Pentire, which is it's absolutely great, because we're downhill and the water from Newquay just floods straight down to us, and of course that's straight onto Fistral Beach, straight onto Crantock, straight into the Gannel. Oh no, Tulkarn's all right. It's us who get it. Tulkarn is tall. Yeah, it's. But yes, it's.
That's according to that measuring tool, which
Yeah.
I think it has been questioned.
It's bad enough even.
Reporting, but the fact that they're admitting their fault in there.
Yeah, so it's. They haven't solved the problem by any means.
And they're not going to, because they refuse to acknowledge what the problem is.
Right. We're getting ready. I don't want to extend the meeting. Have we got any, we haven't spent any money, she
You
says,
have
hopefully,
not.
right? Have we got any other correspondence?
You have not.
Excellent. So I have no items for information only because we've done all that.
I've only, got one little thing, just for information, that an application that you look back in July, which was PA 2404025, 47 Trinance Road, a first floor extension, was refused by Cornwall Council, just for
All right.
information.
I have notification that came through to me today was that the one in Chillen Crescent that we turned down because it's too large, they're going to appeal. So I didn't actually see that, and so we objected to it some months ago. Then it came in June, and your comment, because I wasn't there, your comment was, well, there's no difference to last time. It got turned down because they're saying it's out of character with the area in Chillen Crescent because it's massive. That's going to appeal. But we don't make any comments because it's a householder application, which is really odd, these householder applications, doing these massive developments. But they're not treated as a development, they're treated as, oh, we're just adding an extension to the existing building. So that's going to appeal, so it'll be interesting to see what that comes up with. Other than that, Louise, is there anything else?
Can I just put the dedication letter and plan? It looks like the road that goes through Treloggan Industrial Estate, that Cornwall Council is just making it effectively a, what does it say? How have they phrased it? Which I already assumed it was because they changed the double yellow lines on it, is now a dedicated area for use as a carriageway.
Sorry, which road is this?
That goes through the Treloggan Industrial Estate. Yeah.
What's the implication of that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, what was it before? I don't know. But the interesting, if you look on the plan underneath it, then it stops at the end for Prow Park. So is not designated as a carriageway?
No, I thought carriageway had to go somewhere. The other one, of course, is that they're closing in October. They're closing the road from Chivempa up to Morrison's. But they don't seem.
They do what, so?
They're closing the road from Chivempa roundabout to Morrison's roundabout.
When?
October the 1st.
For how long?
Forever.
6 months. Well, probably forever. But it's going to
Because
be.
there's going to be the new, the new roundabout, Francis, the new roundabout.
Oh, yes.
So that's the cut-through road that there's going to be going up there to
But
Morrison's.
that's not going to be open yet, is it?
No, it's not going to be open yet because they've got to link it up and go round.
Yes, so eventually that will be a cul-de-sac and we will be turning left up there. But I think they're closing it for some reason to do, I think it's Treveth who's closing it. It would be, did it come through yesterday or? Please see, I think it's that one. No, that's Sally Sarn.
That's going to be a real pain. I mean, it's a cut-through for some, well, like
So it's going to be absolute, it's going to be absolute, it's going to be carnage, it's going to be absolute.
Because Trent Creek's being closed as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
no, it's only a temporary closing. But once they get the strategic route going, they're going to presumably close it. I think there's a closure going now, isn't there? I get confused all these road closures coming through. Anyway, I think that is actually not planning and licensing, it's just mentioning it in passing because we saw it. Anybody else got anything they want to say? John?
Just one thing, the market at Chester Road. Can we look into what's happened there? Because they're building without permission. I'm sure they are.
It depends what they're doing. They can do something.
Well, it's about 3 metres by 20 metres. It's a big extension at the back.
Can we ask a question on what's happening there, Louise?
Because we've had nothing through planning.
We had a pre-app, but I don't think we've had anything
That's the
to
market
say.
at Chester Road.
I'm just querying whether there's. I must say I didn't notice it the other day, but querying
It's quite
whether,
large.
just to see if what's going on. Anything else before I close the meeting? So the next date of the next meeting is the 25th of September. Thank you very much for coming for this one, and we've actually got it finished within time.
Well done.